Minneapolis is in turmoil, the massive winter storm impacts millions, and the lineup for the Super Bowl is set. I'm Georgia Howe with Daily Wire Executive Editor John Bickley. It's Monday, January 26th, and this is Evening Wire.
The situation in Minneapolis continues to unravel as anti-ICE protests devolve into riots. Daily Wire immigration reporter Jenny Terr has the latest.
Overnight, anti-ICE agitators attempted to break into a hotel in St. Paul, Minnesota, where they claimed federal immigration agents were staying. One lone and bloodied officer was seen trying to fend off the group that gathered outside the Home to Suites hotel. The demonstrators were seen donning gas masks, banging drums, and blowing horns into the hotel's lobby. At one point, the officer with the Bureau of Prisons was seen trying to fend off the group from entering before he fired a chemical agent into the crowd. Video of the officer has gone viral.
Oh my God. Are you okay? I'm fine. Where's the local PD? That's my question for the press. Where is the local PD?
Meanwhile, Trump announced Monday morning that he was sending Tom Homan, his border czar, to the state, saying, quote, "Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me."
President Trump said Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called him today and that they're actually on a very similar wavelength about some things. Daily Wire political reporter Cameron Arcand has the story.
In a statement on Truth Social today that was confirmed by Walz, Trump said the governor called him to, quote, "request to work together with respect to Minnesota." It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength, the president added. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. Trump said Walz very respectfully understood that and was, quote, happy that Tom Homan was coming to Minnesota. Walz's office, meanwhile, claimed that Trump agreed to looking into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota and working with the state in a more coordinated fashion on immigration enforcement. On Monday night, Fox News reported that some Border Patrol agents are expected to leave the city of Minneapolis.
Many of the rioters appear to be involved in anti-ICE rapid response chat groups on Signal, and some of those groups are being headed up by Democrat officials, including Minnesota State Representative Alex Falconer. Here's the Democrat openly talking about his role organizing the groups while promoting them to a room full of people.
I'm helping to lead the community response, rapid response network that we have, given any ICE situations. I'm willing to stop in to stay around and talk with anybody that wants any more information. We've got a couple groups on the app Signal that we would love for you to join.
President Trump confirmed reports about a new secret weapon obtained by the U.S. and used in the capture of Nicolas Maduro. Daily Wire senior editor Cabot Phillips has the details.
In an interview with the New York Post this weekend, Trump was asked about reports that the Biden administration had purchased a pulsed energy device, which is believed to be the type that caused the mysterious Havana syndrome. He told the Post, quote, "the discombobulator. I'm not allowed to talk about it." For years, many have speculated on the existence of such a device, amid unconfirmed reports of American officials abroad being stricken with severe headaches and memory loss. The president also commented on other elements of the attack, saying, quote, "they never got their rockets off. They pressed buttons and nothing worked." As the Post notes, the remarkable strike involved neutralizing Venezuela's air defenses, communications, and command systems.
In economic news, the stock market has risen as precious metals continue to skyrocket. The price of gold has now topped $5,000 per ounce for the first time ever. That's an increase of more than 80% from this time last year. But most remarkable is silver, which has seen over 280% growth over the past year. It's now trading just above $115 per ounce. While the rising prices may be good for some investors, they also could signal a loss of investor confidence in the U.S. dollar amid trade war tensions and fears of inflation.
Israel has recovered the remains of the last hostage taken during the October 7th attack. Following the recovery, Israeli officials announced plans to reopen the border crossing between Gaza and Egypt. Both developments are key components of the first phase of a U.S. proposed Israel-Gaza peace plan. The plan's second phase calls for the full disarmament of Hamas, a condition the group has strongly resisted. If Hamas refuses to cooperate, the future of the Trump-backed peace plan remains uncertain.
Former CNN host Don Lemon says he believes Trump will go around a judge to prosecute him for storming a Minnesota church service alongside radical protesters. Daily Wire senior editor Virginia Kruta has more.
Speaking to fellow former CNN host Allison Camerota yesterday, Lemon repeatedly insisted on his own innocence, claiming that he was only observing as a journalist, despite him knowing in advance what would go down and hounding the pastor when he got inside. Lemon claimed that the Trump administration would prosecute him by any means necessary, even if it meant having to retrofit laws or circumvent a judge.
Everything that they say pertains to protesters. I was not a protester. This is very clear about that. If you look at all the evidence, I'm not a protester. And so I think, Allison, not that I think, I know, I was the biggest name. And so if they get a Don Lemon, woohoo, that's a victory. And also, I'm the one who put the information out there.
A federal appeals court ruled on Friday that the Justice Department had established probable cause to charge former CNN host Don Lemon and 4 others over the anti-ICE church storming. But the appeals court declined to force a lower court judge to sign the arrest warrants.
President Trump put Democrat Ilhan Omar on notice this weekend. In a Truth Social post, he said that a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota. That fraud, he said, is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets. Additionally, he added, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all.
Senate Republicans seem unlikely to budge on funding for the Department of Homeland Security as a partial government shutdown approaches on Friday. Democrats have called for DHS funding to be held up unless there are serious strings attached related to immigration enforcement. The House already approved spending bills, but they are not in Washington this week, so changes would need to be sent into them, likely triggering a shutdown in the short term. On Sunday, a White House official told the Daily Wire that Democrats were equal partners in negotiating these bills, but after a week spent celebrating their successes in the process and in the midst of a winter storm, they're, quote, holding emergency response funding hostage to score political points.
Current trends show that Britain will hit 3 unprecedented population milestones. Daily Wire culture reporter Megan Basham explains.
So first, it will see the number of deaths exceed the number of births for the first time in modern history. And then second, a third of the babies conceived will be aborted. Finally, the number of migrants in its population, 10.9 million, will roughly equate to the total number of children aborted, 10.7 million, since the procedure became legalized in 1968. Then pushing this issue even further, members of parliament recently voted to decriminalize abortion up to the point of birth. The reality troubling many native British people is this: a society can't abort a third of its future generation and expect to remain intact.
The lineup for Super Bowl 60 is set. Here's David Cohn, host of On3 sports show Crane & Cohn, with the details.
The Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots will square off in Super Bowl 60. Both teams secured their spots Sunday, with Seattle beating the LA Rams and the Pats overcoming a fourth-quarter blizzard to beat the Denver Broncos. This year's Super Bowl is a rematch from the 2014 season when the Patriots beat the Seahawks 28-24 in a thriller. We'll see if history repeats itself Sunday, February 8th at 6:30 Eastern at the 49ers home stadium in Santa Clara.
And American rock climber Alex Honnold stunned the world Saturday when he scaled one of the tallest skyscrapers on the planet in Taiwan without any safety equipment. Daily Wire entertainment reporter Amanda Harding has the story.
Honnold free climbed the 1,667-foot skyscraper Taipei 101 over the course of 90 minutes. The entire event was broadcast live on Netflix on Saturday after being postponed due to weather earlier in the week. He's done major climbs before, but nothing to this scale. Spectators watched captivated as he ascended the massive skyscraper, at one point going hands-free, gripping only with his legs. A huge crowd of onlookers watched from the ground and inside the building, which Honnold said was not the usual for him. Here's the response from the crowd when he finished the climb.
Alex Honnold has made history again.
Sick.
The father of 2 first went viral in 2017 after becoming the first person to free solo on El Capitan in Yosemite National Park, climbing 2,900 feet without safety equipment.
All right, those are your drive home updates. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it earlier today, we covered some major stories, including Minneapolis spiraling amid what the Trump administration calls engineered chaos, and as another government shutdown looms, plus U.S. forces moving into position in a showdown with Iran. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another full edition of Morning Wire.